Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit and another episode of What Are We Eating? There's just something about sitting down to a big old plate of slow smoked, moist and juicy, melt in your mouth barbecue pork ribs, riblets, or country style ribs. The messier the ribs are, the better they seem to taste. But everyone doesn't have 5 to 6 hours to sit around a barbecue pit whenever they want ribs. Cooking them in the oven just doesn't seem right, and barbecue chain restaurants, well, they're barbecue chain restaurants. That says enough, doesn't it? So once you've gone over all your options and realize you may not be having ribs for dinner, you remember that Dollar Tree always has something affordable, nutritious, and delicious. So you run in there and pick up a pack of Pierre's boneless pork riblets with barbecue sauce. With a name like Pierre's, you know they're going to be good. The French have been highly acclaimed for centuries for their barbecue. Pierre describes his boneless pork riblets as boneless pork rib-shaped patties with barbecue sauce. When I see the word shaped on the front of a package, that makes me nervous because there's going to be a lot of different pieces from different animals, and there's going to be a lot of this and a lot of that make up that shape. And they need to get a new shaper because these don't look like ribs or riblets. So let's dive into this extensive list of baffling ingredients. I've been cooking barbecue for a long time, and I've never had to use or even heard of half of these ingredients. But Pierre is a Frenchman, and the French have a way with food, so we're going to have to trust him for now. First, let me reiterate, I'm not a health expert, I don't try to be one, nor do I want to be one. I try to research as much of the ingredients on these foods as I can, and simply try to point out some of the facts I feel are important. I get all of my information from the internet, so we can all be assured it's 110% accurate, and most of all, true. If I miss something bad or good, let me know in the comments. We can all get educated on these foods together. Some people don't have a problem with MSG, but some people do. So for those of you that do, even though MSG is not specifically listed, it's in here a lot. First, I learned something new and very important about my favorite ingredient of all time, textured vegetable protein. It's loaded with MSG. Not really a problem for me, but I found it funny that I got so tied up complaining about its texture, I really didn't care what else was in it. But yes, textured vegetable protein has MSG, and the Worcestershire powder, soy sauce, and maltodextrin often contain or produce processed-free glutamic acid. I also found another ingredient very funny and scary at the same time. Remember during the summer when we were kids at the beach, we'd see lifeguards with white noses? Well, that was zinc oxide, which is an ingredient in these pork riblets. Hey, I guess you can never be too safe when you go into a nuclear oven. On to the nutrition facts. The serving size is the whole 5.25 ounce container. There's 470 calories, which isn't necessarily going to wreck your day if this is all you ate as a meal, but 320 of those calories is from fat. If you were on a low-carb, high-fat diet, that wouldn't be an issue, but you wouldn't be eating this crap if you were on a low-carb, high-fat diet, so it is an issue. There's 35 grams of total fat and 12 grams of saturated fat, which is 60% of your daily allowance in this small container. I won't even call it a meal. Then there's 20 grams of carbohydrates, and I find this funny. 2 grams of fiber. I know they come from the textured vegetable protein, but come on, ribs should never have fiber. Meat doesn't have fiber, period. Shame on you, Pierre. 4 grams of sugar, which is fine since men should have no more than 37.5 grams and women 25 grams. Protein is good at 17 grams. But now, like I always do, I save the worst for last, the sodium. These pork riblets have 43% of your daily allowance of sodium, or 1,030 milligrams. Now, before people comment salt isn't bad for us, I know this. We all need salt to live. However, everyone is different, and a lot of people do need to monitor and limit their daily sodium intake for health reasons, etc. So if salt is not an issue for you, fast forward a few seconds. Did you know that there's 2,325 milligrams of sodium in a teaspoon of salt? 1 teaspoon of salt does not sound like a lot of salt, but when you're done with this video, measure it out, pour it into your hand, and half of that is in this container of riblets. You still want to eat these? It's all about moderation. If you eat these every day, you're probably not going to be healthy. If you eat them every once in a while, if you're already healthy, you're probably going to remain healthy. It says previously handled frozen for your protection, keep frozen or refrigerated. Product can be stored frozen up to 9 months or refrigerated up to 14 days. Refrigerated up to 14 days. That kind of tells you something about the crap that's in this that makes it last that long. This is kind of scary if you think about it. Some stores might put them in the refrigerator section thawed out for a week to 2 weeks and then put them back in the freezer section if they don't sell. So let's open these up and see what they look like. Wow, those look more like chicken nuggets than they do pork riblets. Pierre, what were you thinking? I didn't really have high hopes to begin with, but I expected more than that. So obviously you can cook these from a frozen or a thawed state. Mine are frozen, so I'm going to put them back in the wrapper and cook them for 2 minutes on high. After microwaving on high for 2 minutes, our pork nuggets are done, and I get that really strong, overpowering hickory smoke smell. These definitely have to taste better than they look. Otherwise, it looks like we might be having another Rosie O'Donnell nightmare. So let's pull a couple of these out using our plastisoup cutlery. And yes, that is the new plastisoup shatterproof plate. The pork nuggets seem to be pretty tender as the plastisoup knife is cutting through it like warm butter, but the plastisoup knife cuts through everything like it's warm butter. My lighting definitely was not cooperating. It looked like a pasty, mealy cereal bar. You could see it a little bit better once I got the tray back in the picture. I was trying to put it off as long as I could, but I knew I had to take a bite. Words escaped me for a minute, but the one word that did not come to mind was meat. This did not last long in my mouth. A couple chews, and that was all I could take. It was the typical fatty, slimy, spongy texture of textured vegetable protein, but add grease on top of that. Really no flavor besides the hickory smoke and the grease flavor. And as you can see here, they didn't really heat thoroughly. A couple on the bottom turned to asteroids, and even the plastisoup couldn't cut through them. But I'll take the blame on that one, because I didn't spread them out evenly, but the directions didn't say you had to, even though it is common sense. The bottom line is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and $1 for good boneless pork riblets is too good to be true. Even Chris Rock wouldn't pay you 50 cents for these. Well, maybe he would if you hook a brother up and put some soda in his hand. Please tell me somebody got that. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you do not give these a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.